Okay, welcome to episode something of Last Men Standing, the Tantrum podcast. It's the three amigos this week. So there's me, Stu. Down there is
Steve.
Hey. And up
Further
there.
down is.
No, you're over there.
No, I'm over here. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere.
Oh, maybe start. The omnipotent pet. Or omnipresent, I don't know.
It's Stu, Steve, and Richie today. This is the core three, as it seems now.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about
The best ones.
Sorry, they're not going to watch this anyway. So, what's everybody drinking this week? This is like the official start now.
Cheap from the reduced section. The one I always get every week, actually, because it's always on offer. It'll be Asahi next. I upgraded. Start cheap, go higher.
Richie, what you got?
The leftovers from last week, to be honest. But this isn't Ralph or Michael Schumacher. It's Tony Schumacher.
Oh, nice.
Gives you a good kick.
Driving joke, I guess. I don't get it.
As always,
Football jokes.
I'm on the bourbon.
A big pint of Jack and Coke.
Oh. Although we can't.
Sounds great.
Other bourbons are available.
Yeah. Or we'll get like demonetized. But we're not making any money on it anyway, so it doesn't
Don't get any monetization in this.
Honey, what's that?
If we can just get enough people to subscribe to the fucking channel.
You monkeys.
We'll only need another like 900 or something, so make haste. Well, we will start with the now new weekly feature of what have you been listening to this week?
What have you been listening to this week? Bum, bum, that's jingle. Who are we starting with?
Guess what?
What?
I finally checked out the Halen album.
Oh, nice.
Way! Did you buy it or did you just listen to it?
I just listened to it. I do intend to buy it. I just listened to it do its thing. I had some time to kill where, I just want to listen to music while I concentrate on something and check it out. It's bloody good.
And it just.
It is a really good album.
Yep. Album of the year, potentially.
It keeps putting me in mind of other things as I'm listening to it. It's got that kind of weird thing where it just reminds me of loads and loads and loads of different types of stuff, all kind of mushed together to make something good. It's like a culmination of all my favourite bands, and you just get something magic out of it.
Yeah, it just ends up sounding like just what you want, really. That's what great bands do.
Yeah, like influences definitely on the sleeve, but at the same time it has its own unique thing.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of crossover. We're kind of segue here, but it's a kind of weird crossover band because like when you see like on Instagram and stuff, you look at like Halas fans, like us, I guess, and they don't look like the music sounds. If that makes sense. Like they look like metalheads. Like it's leather, denim, spikes, Maiden, Priest, patches, and then a Halas one next to it. And it it's like it's a weird crossover, I guess. It's a strange thing because the guys in Halas themselves don't look like a metal band at all because they're not a metal band. They're a prog rock band, but it's weird how they've just metal fans just seem to have this big connection with them. And I guess it's the spirit of heavy metal is what they play without playing heavy metal.
There's definitely nods to it. I mean, there's some
Aye.
ripping solos in some of those songs.
Yeah. And just the structures of the songs as well. Sometimes the kind of and the vibe of them, and I guess the whole sort of fantasy, sword and sorcery imagery of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It wouldn't be
Is in that.
early Rainbow or something like that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a touch of like ELP and King Crimson and like Genesis, you know, who will fit into that.
Had quite a Uriah Heep influence in there.
Yeah,
yeah. I would go with that.
There's just bits of everything, you know. It's really nice.
Man, Richie, well, anything else you've been listening to?
I can bend the rules a little bit, but not really listen to. I recently read KK Downing's autobiography.
Oh yeah, cool. What do you think? It's quite good, eh?
Pretty good. To be quite honest, you know, considering how much Judas Priest liked a bit of the old rock and roll lifestyle in the 80s, I was expecting a lot more sleaze. KK comes across as a very, very level-headed guy. It'd be interesting to see when Rob Halford comes out, because he is doing one.
Yeah, that will be a...
I enjoyed KK's book. It was the only thing to me, it felt a wee bit short. It was just
it could have been longer.
He was kind of really running through a lot of the eras and just talking about them lightly, you know.
Yeah, I can't see Glenn Tipton doing one.
Nah,
probably not.
That's not a
or Ian Hill.
It's not a reference to his illness. I just can't see him doing one because
he just doesn't seem that kind of guy.
He comes across as very, very private.
Yeah.
So, but what's interesting is, I mean, it's taken me, I think it's been a year since I published Beast. It's taken me a year to get around to reading it. When it was released, there was a lot said in the press, "Oh, KK said this, KK said that, KK hates Glenn, blah, blah, blah." My mate, who's a massive Judas Priest fan, commented on it. He said, "Oh, there's an allegation in this, in that KK Downing invented the whole studs and leather thing for Priest." He's claiming he did. Well, right at the back is a picture of Priest in their dressing room in 1977, and Halford's still wearing the big shawl, and only KK Downing's wearing the leather pants and jacket and studs. So it's legit. Anyways, my mate, this might have to be edited. Depends on how it comes out. No pun intended. My mate, who I was talking about the book with a year ago, he says, "Oh, I bet he's going to claim that he knew that Rob Halford was gay back in 1972 next." Well, funny enough,
it seems like they all did, yeah. It didn't seem like it was a big deal to them.
There's a story in there with the four of them, the four members at the time.
That's the truck stop story.
Finished a gig and, you know, they were getting service off Williams, blah, 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 and then Rob didn't participate, and then there was an incident at the truck stop where Glenn found him in the cubicle with a bloke with a massive smile on his face. Fair play to you, Rob.
Well, since it's in the book, I think we can get away with not editing that out.
It's not libel, it's in there.
Yeah.
If it's libel, it was KK and started it.
Yeah, no, it's a good book.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Like, I agree with you, Stu, it could have been longer, a lot longer. But I think a lot of these kind of rock books are like that. They don't always dig but it's always from one side, isn't it? It's always from the...
I always want more detail on like the music. You know, I'm a geek. I want to know how they made things, what they were using, how it was all done, how it was written, how it was recorded. I want everything, and I want minutia.
That's
hardly any of the books give you that, though.
That's why Bob Daisley's book was so good.
Yeah,
because he went into the details of making the first two Ozzy Osbourne albums in particular.
Yeah, that was a great book.
Yeah. We all agree Bob Daisley had the best book.
I'd agree, yeah. So far I've read Lemmy's, I've read David Lee Roth's, I've read all four members of Kiss, including the Eric Carr one.
David Lee Roth's book gets an honourable mention here because it's just so good.
It's
It is
batshit
good,
crazy
but
though.
it's not Bob Daisley's book.
Makes no sense at all.
But
Are we talking crazy? Are we talking about Crazy from the Heat?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, mental. It's jazz books. It's jazz writing. It just goes off on like a million different tangents and it makes no sense whatsoever. It's not even really about David Lee Roth. It's just about whatever's happening in his head at that time. Which
Funny
is
enough,
great.
One that I'd like to read is the autobiography by Yngwie Malmsteen. Because I've read the unofficial one, and he's not portrayed as being a very nice person.
Really?
But there's a really, really
shock news.
Story, and there's a really funny story in the unofficial one. Apparently, when he was back in Sweden,
I never read that. I like that Yngwie.
He was at a house party and he was being a toss at this. So they threw him out the house party. He was that upset that he decided to open the letterbox to the house front door, stick his knob through it, and wee in the house.
We've all done
And
it.
it's one of them ones that slam at the other end. So somebody spotted that and went and slammed it on his dick. Oh, wait.
Anyway.
The tone's been going already.
We've already started tangenting very early here.
We're way off.
Yeah. So anyways, music for this week.
Yeah.
Unless it was an audiobook, Richie, in which case you're fine.
No, it wasn't. Some of us still read books.
Huh.
No, that's me done. That's me done. The only thing I've
you?
wrote this week is Alice. I just thought I'd mention the autobiographies.
Yeah, man.
It's music.
Cool. What have I been listening to this week? I was listening to Angel Witch this morning, not the most recent one, the one before that, As Above, So Below.
Oh yeah, good album.
Giving that a little jam, great album that. I was thinking while I was listening to it, it was like I was talking about Kirith Ungol the other week, how they'd kind of just come out of a 30-year hiatus, and just sounded like they did before. And Angel Witch are kind of like that too. They kind of did the first record, a couple of the ones after that, then did bugger all for 20, 30 years, and then came back with that, and it was just like they'd never been away.
Yeah,
great album, really good. Also been listening to that Wolf Tooth. Did you listen to that I sent you? Wolf Tooth.
Yeah, the Valhalla thing.
Fuck, that's good. Like, that is good.
Good record.
It's kind of like, I thought, like elements of the Sword, kind of like trad metal, but more in the stoner doomy vibe.
There's a very Aussie sound to it.
The vocals, the chorus and the vocals.
I mean, even some of the riffage is kind of Sabbathy. So it does have that kind of Aussie Sabbathy feel to it. It's really good. I enjoyed it. I will definitely probably get a copy of that.
Yeah, I'll be buying that as well. It's a banger. Those two. What else have we been listening to? Pyromania. I was listening to Pyromania this morning.
Oh, nice.
Pulled that out. That was a banger. What else? Loads of stuff. Man, I listen to stuff every night and I always kind of forget what I've been listening to be honest. So those are the ones that kind of stand out. Is in terms of new stuff that I've kind of been finding.
Well, I had on Def Leppard as well, actually, weirdly.
There you go.
Funny enough, so did I last night for a bit.
I did High and Dry through Hysteria, I think.
Oh,
I did
cool, man.
Live 83 Live in LA album as well. That was good.
Cool.
What else have I done? I've been on a big Tigers of Pantang kick.
Yeah, haven't you?
Yeah, so I got the newer album Ritual, which is really good. Standout tracks would be Raise Some Hell, Sail On. There's another one, something about soldiers. Can't remember what the fuck it's called, but it's good. It's a good album. But because I got it, I ended up digging some older ones out. So I sat and listened to Spellbound, Wildcat, another one. The name escapes me. What was the one
Crazy
after?
Nights.
What came
Crazy
up?
Nights,
Crazy Nights.
Crazy Nights.
What else have we had on? I've had again listening to a ton of music this week. High on Fire today. and yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow.
I was always more of a sleep guy than High on Fire, to be honest.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. And don't get me wrong, I like sleep, but I prefer High on Fire, I think.
Surprising me, I thought you'd be more the other way. For obvious reasons.
I listened to quite a bit of Toto this week as well, actually.
Yeah, nice.
Did you really?
I'm going the other way.
Nothing wrong with Toto. Great band.
No, not at all.
No, nothing wrong with them at all. Just something's come to light of late.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later.
I'm sure we'll get to that one.
I don't know what that is.
I was talking about the hierarchy of the Toto Big Three, where there's the three great famous Toto songs, and what order are they considered the best?
Well, are they all Africa?
To be honest, Stu, I couldn't name another one other than those three, and I like all three.
So everybody generally seems to tell you, for some reason, Africa by Toto became one of those songs that just had a big resurgence. Nobody's really sure how these things happen. It just suddenly becomes part of pop culture again. In Africa,
Because some little rap fella did a remixy thing of it.
Is this what it was? Am I learning
Yeah,
something?
there's a rap. There was the rapper music. The young kids like it. It's like that. It was one of those.
The rapper?
I couldn't tell you who.
I've heard of it.
About 10
I think
years
it was
ago.
Lil Jim Jam or Big Rondon. One of those guys. I don't fucking know. Yeah. Have you not got that yet? Get out.
No, we need to put that sound effect in.
I need to add it at some point. Doesn't work if you do it though.
No, it doesn't.
Mention the whole thing about Toto in Africa. About 10, maybe 11, 12 years ago, a guy done a solo arrangement on acoustic guitar. Him just playing everything on one guitar. And it went viral on YouTube. We're talking 20 million hits, etc. For me, I noticed that's when that song started to come into pop culture again.
The same thing happened.
Yeah, go ahead.
The same thing happened with Journey's "Don't Stop Believing."
I was about to mention that.
I just became returned to the charts again for some reason,
I can tell you why that was as well. That was Glee Club, wasn't it?
Or X Factor or something.
That TV, what's that TV? Nah, it might be that, but there was a American TV show about a Glee Club, and it was on that.
Yeah, there you go.
Might be in a movie, I don't know. But that's why that happened. I just googled the cover versions of Africa there, funnily enough, and there's apparently one with Weird Al Yankovic and Weezer.
Okay.
Just to try and find that rap one I was talking about, but yeah, that's the one. Weezer and fucking hell.
When it comes to the big three Toto songs, the top of the pile has to be "Hold the Line."
Yes.
That's just a beast.
Oh yeah.
And then close followed by Rosanna, which is the forgotten one for some reason. People never mention Rosanna.
No, that's the three I would have said. That's the only three I've ever heard.
Look, if anybody's listening and has never heard Rosanna by Toto, just listen to the bloody drumming.
Oh man,
And groove Jeff Porcaro gets is outstanding.
But the beauty of Toto was every member of that band was like a virtuoso. I mean, they were just insane. Yeah. Steve Lukather's guitar playing on Rosanna is a thing of beauty. It's insanely good.
Everybody's heard the musicians in Toto play something, even if it's not a Toto song.
Yeah. Session guys to the stars.
Absolutely.
Speaking about session, I'm going to get a beer. Talk amongst yourself.
That's why I keep the case next to me.
Yeah, I always prepare now. Although I don't think I actually brought the bottle through with me, so I might have to go in it myself at some point and grab it. Or did I? I don't know. I'll have a look. What else have we had on this week? That's a damn good question. A lot of Tigers. I should probably have prepared and actually looked this up. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. Oh no, I'll tell you what else. Cheap Trick. Been listening to a bit of Cheap Trick. What else can I say? It's Cheap Trick. They're just killer. You're going to have to fill in some voice here, Richie, because...
Well, I mentioned Halas earlier. I mean, that's not all I've been listening to this week. That's just the only thing that's new that I've been listening to. But as people know, I like playing with different audio formats, and I like hearing what they sound like in different formats, etc. And as part of that process, Def Leppard I mentioned earlier, some Van Halen, we've had some Raven, Mr. Big, Judas Priest, the Ripper Owens era. That's been spanned a few times this week. While
Nice.
Not this week, over the last 24 hours, because this week I've been in bed not too well. What else?
I'm just quickly.
It's been a lot.
I'm scanning through my playlists here on my audio to see what the hell I've been playing.
Tanith as well. I've been spelling that well.
Talking whilst I'm looking.
Yeah.
Talking.
Tanith. What else? Tanith, Maiden, always. That's standard.
This is like the height of professionalism here. We're not even
just scanning through playlists, talking about what we've been listening
to. I guess because I did the Tigers of Pantang, I listened to a bit of John Sykes, some of his solo stuff. That was good. It's always good.
Was it sexy?
Nothing wrong with being sexy.
I was literally. Okay, we'll finish. I've done the last two, I suppose. I have done Robert Person's Humbucker.
I listened to that in the car there. Yesterday I had that in the car.
The new album, Out of the Dark?
No. I always get the names mixed up of the first two. It was one of the first two. I don't know which one it was.
Well, I got the new...
I love those.
And I'm saying the new one. It's really... I think it's been out since like the tail end of last year, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
just before Christmas, I think it came out last year.
I finally got a hold of a copy. So Out of the Dark by Robert Person's Humbucker. Really good album from Sweden. Great band. Very kind of Lizzie-esque.
Just great songs, man.
They're catchy sing-along songs with great guitar parts and good old-fashioned solos. And
it sounds like a rock album should sound. It sounds really open.
Yeah.
There's not like a massive amounts of... There's not like walls of guitars or over-compressed. There's no drum samples. It sounds like a live band in a room playing.
It's got like pop sensibility with like hooky song stuff. It's the full package.
Yeah. Really underrated band as well.
I'll get around to checking that out.
Yeah,
you really should, Richie. You would like them.
You would, man. You would enjoy that.
From the description, I probably would.
And there's 3 full-length albums. It's a bit kind of Lizzie, a bit the Cars, a bit Cheap Tricky. It's just good shit, you know. And the final thing I had on this week, because I've listened to tons of it, is I've been kind of going through Robin Trower's back catalogue a wee bit again, which has been good. Particularly, I did the BLT album with Jack Bruce on vocals, Trower on guitar, and the boy on drums. Can't remember his name now. Lorden.
You're a long time crossing bridges. I just like playing that.
Never tired of playing Bridge of Sighs. One of the all-time...
For anybody who didn't know, prior to Tantrum, me and Stu were in a covers band together, and we used to cover Bridge of Sighs by Robin Trower. It's a nice song to play.
One of the best sounds in the world is a Marshall amp with a Strat, with a Univibe pedal in the middle of that. That's just a great sound.
Cool stuff, man. Cool stuff, both of you.
Dead air.
Oh, sorry. Well, should we move on to the topic?
It works better when everybody joins in.
It does. It also works better when people aren't cutting each other off.
Well, yeah.
This is true. And monopolising the air.
Yeah. When they're drunk, doing podcasts.
DWP. Drunk while podcasting.
So, shall we move on to the news? Is there any news?
Nah.
No, I thought not.
There's no. I've checked. There's none.
Has there been anything happened in music that's worth mentioning?
No, everyone's just waiting for lockdown to ease a little bit and then see where we go from there. I've seen some. Now, was it in Germany? Oh, I can't remember what it was. Drive-through concerts I've seen. No, drive-in concerts. Drive-through concerts would be really short. Drive-in concerts. So you rock up in your car in a car park and there's a little fella. It was a DJ set. It wasn't an actual band that I saw it. So that's been happening. Yeah.
What? So you do the?
You drive to watch.
Show that airbox. Now you got to open the sunroof and out the window like that. You know?
Yeah, you drive in your car to watch a man play some records.
No. You're driving your car to watch a guy press buttons on his laptop. DJs don't use records anymore.
He had the decks.
Well, they're cosmetic. They're all using MP3s now.
Yeah.
Imagine that. You're paying 40 to 100 quid to see some guy just basically pick tunes out of his laptop for you.
Beep. Shuffle. I'm off to the bar. Yeah.
I remember.
Pretty much.
Kids these days, Richie.
There was a big event somewhere, and it was in Edinburgh. I think it was Ingolston. I can't remember who it was, but it was one of these DJ guys. And Felix, I'll start by saying that I am a former nightclub DJ myself. I have done this. I have been paid to do this, so I am fairly confident I have a pretty good opinion on the talent required to be a nightclub DJ. But some dude had a big event organised at some festival-y thing they were doing, and he was the headliner, and he pulled out for whatever reason, and people went mental about it, and they were all over the Facebook and stuff with their comments, and it was like, oh my god, I've paid all this money, what we're going to do now? And they were like, don't worry about it, we're going to get somebody else to come and fill in. And they were like, no, it just won't be the same. And I'm like, yeah, imagine having
It'll be exactly the same.
somebody else there press the button and start it. Yes, I'm slagging off.
I know a few of these folk who go to these events, so to speak, and well, I get the impression that they're all reading from a script. The substance is involved, which begins with the letter E, and there's a lot of laser lights and pyrotechnics, etc. So I suppose when you're at your skull, I suppose that looks appealing.
At least back when I did it, it was still on vinyl. There was at least a tactile to it. Yeah, tactileness. You had to at least touch the bloody things to,
Yeah. I've known a lot of DJs over the years, especially back in Newcastle. And I knew a lot of lads who were vinyl diehards until I left Newcastle and came up here. A few pals of mine who were more successful have moved on to using mini discs and compact discs by the early to mid 2000s. God knows what they're doing now because I've lost touch with them.
Oh, all went to CDs and digital files and stuff, but nah.
I spelled it myself once, but it was a rock thing. So
I went backwards. I left turntables and then went into wooden strings. So all of technology just went backwards. Valves, wooden strings.
Richie's is still going backwards as we speak. A fucking gramophone next in his room, if there isn't one already.
Not yet, but hang on. People messaged me. Not yet. I haven't purchased a gramophone yet, or a wax cylinder player, or a wire recorder, or anything like that. But I do watch a lot of videos on obsolete formats and try to learn about them. I'm absolutely fascinated by them.
Well, if it keeps you amused,
a little out of reach.
Why not?
Whatever keeps you at the pub, Richie.
Why? Anything keeps me out the pub at the minute, Steve.
It does indeed. You have to bring the pub to your house.
This is the closest I've been to being in a pub in nearly 3 months.
Same.
I'm another year older next week as well. They should reopen the pub for one day only and just let me in. Me and a nice barmaid. And that's it.
2 meters apart.
Shake and pull the pint, send it down the bottom. I can have one like a little train set. to bring the bar.
You fucking love that, wouldn't
me
you?
on the bar. And then I send the money to her back, just for
They do
one
that.
day.
Have you ever been a sushi restaurant, Richie? The very famous one. They do that. It's like a train. Your food comes out in a little. You just pick it up.
I've been to a few with the conveyor belts. I have seen a bar in the Czech Republic where you just sit down and they send the beer to you via little O gauge, I think, train set, bigger than the standard stuff, G scale or something. But yeah, I quite fancy that.
I can't imagine you would ever leave if they were doing that.
Yeah.
I just got full blown deja vu.
What, Richie talking about trains?
I don't know if this was on last week's episode. It never was.
The lost episode, the lost tapes.
The lost tapes. The lost year.
I think the deja vu there is that we're completely deviated from the subject of this week's news again.
Yeah. Well, shall we?
Yeah, there's no news. Carry on.
We bring it round. Well, I suppose the only news I've seen is I saw Sammy Hagar and Roger Daltrey had both come out and said basically they didn't give a fuck about coronavirus, and as soon as they're able, they're going to start touring again. If they're over 70, they're like, well, fuck it, we're going out and playing.
Yeah, well, it's fine for them. They're old dudes.
You what?
They're old dudes. They're going to die anyway at some point soon. We've got our little lives ahead of us. Fuck you, Sammy. I thought you were going to talk about the Sammy Van Halen quotes.
Oh, no.
Talking about like a reunion.
No, I mean...
He has said that he can see a Van Halen reunion is inevitable.
Yeah, but Sammy's been saying that since he left. Every time he's left Van Halen. I mean, I just don't see it happening personally. I don't think Ed's going to do anything else now. I think he's done.
Yeah, sounds like
it. It pains me to say it, but all the stories sort of lead to the kind of notion that his health just isn't good anymore, and he's probably not going to do anything really. He doesn't need it.
I don't see it.
He's made his contribution 10 times over to music,
Yeah.
It's kind of personal coincidence that we are, with all the stories circulating about Eddie and his health, etc. We are looking at the potential demise of Van Halen as a group, and just at that point, I've well and truly rediscovered my love for them. After 20 years again.
I mean, like...
spinning those first 6 albums.
Ed got to go out there and tour with his kid, which I think seemed to be really the driving force for him is to doing those last couple of tours, was just the fact that he had his son with him. Because it was Wolfgang that was pretty much picking the set lists and organising everything by all accounts, So he was the kind of musical director for pulling out old cuts and stuff. And they got Roth back to do the last couple of tours.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't see him going back out to do anything now, really. I don't think it's needed or, And Wolfgang's apparently still got an album to come out. Like a solo Wolfgang Van Halen album. Curious to hear what that's going to sound like.
Ooh. That should be enjoyable.
I mean, he teased a couple of snippets of music, so I've heard like a couple of seconds here and there of it. It sounds kind of cool, but until you actually hear a whole track, I've got no idea what it's going to sound like. He's had the best teachers, I suppose, for how to learn to be a musician. Because by all accounts, it's a full DIY job. He's playing all the instruments himself.
Wow.
So he's doing... I've seen him in the Instagram stuff. He's been playing the drums, guitar, the bass. Don't know about vocals. Don't know if he's singing or not. No idea.
Do you know what's funny on the subject of Wolfgang Van Halen? Remember years ago I bought a guitar magazine. This is when I was still at school. And there was a picture of Eddie Van Halen in the guitar magazine. And he's there looking like Eddie Van Halen does. And he's got his a stripy Strat copy, presumably the Kramer, I can't remember. It won't be the Frankenstrat. Anyways, he's got young Wolfgang sat on the amplifier with a little one. And a lad I went to school with who played the guitar as well. He was a very good guitar player, but different direction.
Yeah.
He looked at it and he went on an absolute tangent. He went on an absolute rant saying, oh, look at Eddie Van Halen, what a control freak. He's trying to make his son just like him, blah, blah, blah. Look, my dad's class, right? But if Eddie Van Halen was my dad, I wouldn't mind being my dad. You know what I'm saying?
You know, fair enough.
And he has pushed forward his own field, you know, playing with many bands, you know, playing with Mark Tremonti and things like that.
Yeah, both guys.
That's not, yeah.
A great bass player. It really annoys me when you see the commenting that goes on about his musicianship primarily, where people say he shouldn't be in Van Halen because he's not good enough to play this stuff. And you're like, you serious? Have you heard this kid play? He's fucking ridiculously talented, you know?
He's, as far as his bass work goes, he's a great fill-in for Mike Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he can do the job.
He's certainly...
Maybe a little lacking in the backing vocals department now. Of course. I mean, you know.
No, I don't think so. You know, again, his backing vocals were spot on.
His backing vocals are spot on, but they're not Mike Anthony.
No, but I mean...
They're not Mike Anthony, and that's what's missing.
It still sounded suitably Van Halen-y.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it was about, shall we say, 90% Van Halen. It was more like Van Hale, you know?
Van Ha. Right. Shall we move on to this week's topic of conversation?
Go for it. Do you want to introduce?
Eventually.
You can introduce it and go for it.
So this week we're talking about cover songs. So we're going to talk about, well, we're all going to pick one, but we'll also talk about them in general.
Yeah.
So we're going to pick our favourite cover song, and we're going to pick, obviously, our least favourite cover songs, because you all come here for the shade. We all know that. So, yeah, there's no criteria here. There's no kind of, unless it's self-imposed. Richie might self-impose some sort of, I have to have owned it in 1986 for it to be relevant, but apart from that,
for the rest of us, we're just going to jab at any old shit.
It's fair.
No,
game.
I don't own any of these tonight. I'm having to bend my own rules.
So, but before we get to the ones that we're actually going to pick, let's just talk about a few. And I guess what makes it a good cover and what makes a bad cover.
Well, I think
we're kind of in the realm of, we're sticking to metal bands doing covers.
We have to kind of, I suppose, then discuss what sort of prompted this discussion in the first place. Which
did prompt this discussion.
It was kind of, again, probably slightly dates back to the Puddle of Mud.
Oh yeah.
we covered that at length a couple of episodes ago, so we don't need to go over that.
No, let's not go back into that.
But the other day we came across a recording of Bobby Kimball, formerly of Toto, performing Africa at a solo concert somewhere in the States, and it was awful, really bad.
It was bad.
I mean, you could argue, I suppose, is that even a cover if he was on the original track?
Yeah, it's not a cover then.
But it wasn't Toto. It was another band with him. Plus, he was, playing some rather ropey keyboard over it. And
I couldn't really comment on the musicianship involved because
I think the band
was so distracting.
I think the band were actually okay. Like the backing guys he had, but his keyboard playing was particularly bad. I think he was the weak link in his own band there.
Yeah, seen that a few times.
Yeah, it was. I mean, right? Don't get me wrong. Everybody has a. It was a live recording. It wasn't studio recording or anything. So you can have a bad night and just put in a stinking. Everybody's done it, So whilst we're mocking you, we're doing it lovingly because we do understand what it's like to have a shit night.
We do.
But it doesn't mean nobody's fair game for mocking still. You are, Sorry.
Oh, yeah, you piss at everyone.
We're allowed to talk about it, and if you don't like it, fuck off. Gotta go about ranting.
Yeah!
So yeah, that kind of prompted the cover versions that go awry. And then, obviously, from there we looked at cover versions that were particularly good.
Well, I've just done a really quick Google search I just typed in heavy metal cover songs, right? And pretty much everything that comes up would make my list of bad ones. So I'll go for what we've got here, right? Fucking hell. Let's do it chronologically here, okay? So the first one, we actually spoke about this last week, funnily enough, was These Boots by Megadeth.
If we're going to
that's a novelty. That's comedy, that.
It's on an album.
Shall we pick one each and go round rather than just rhyming them all off? Because the chances are the ones we're going to talk about are in that list.
Oh, possibly, yeah. Right, we're going to go into the crap ones first then. Okay.
Yeah, let's start with shitty cover songs. So who wants to go first?
Right, I'm going to start then.
Cool.
So I was between two that I thought were really shitty. I think I'm going to. It's a tough one between these two, but they're both for very similar reasons. So I'll explain my reasoning behind it as well. But one's by Metallica, kings of the cover versions, or they were, till they completely lost their shit in the 90s. They started doing Bob Seger songs. But it's their version of Whiskey in the Jar, man.
Who also covered a Bob Seger song, but they did a good one.
I mean, Metallica's version of Whiskey in the Jar, it's not terrible. Musically, it's played well and everything, but and Whiskey in the Jar is obviously itself a cover song, but Thin Lizzy made it their song.
Yeah.
They took it from being an Irish folk song to being a Thin Lizzy song. And Metallica, they said the words a bit wrong, as we all know. And just it lacks the soul of that song, the kind of vagabond spirit that Phil Lynott had in Spades. Metallica don't have that. They're a street metal band from America. At their best, they were anyway.
There's no great romanticized gypsy living to Metallica.
No, it's eat McDonald's, drink Coors, play heavy metal, which is great. We love that, but not on that song, man. It just, you need to have Phil Lynott or that kind of vibe. And I can't think of anyone that would do a good cover of Whiskey in the Jar, to be honest, apart from Phil. That's it. I can't think. Gary Moore, maybe.
It's actually now one of my least favourite Lizzy songs, and I don't know if it's just one of those songs that's kind of been played.
It's overplayed.
But even then, and it's probably, again, because he didn't actually write it, Phil wrote so many great songs.
Yeah.
That if I want to listen to Phil Lynott doing something, I know I can get a far better song out of him than that,
This can sometimes be the issue with.
I learned how to play that song on guitar before the Metallica version came out and before I'd heard the Thin Lizzy cover. In my early days, I first learned to play. I had to learn the traditional version, so to speak, not the Dubliners. The song is believed
the original one.
Traditional. So therefore, nobody knows who truly wrote it.
No, it's just an Irish folk song that's existed over time, yeah.
In the original, the lass isn't called Molly either, she's called Jenny. I remember the lyrics.
So yeah, I'm going to have that. Not because it's a terrible cover, just because it lacks the same. You're trying to do something that isn't achievable. I think for me, when you're doing a cover, you need to be completely somewhere else. Whether you need to take it somewhere totally different, and you need to make it your own, and people to not even realise it's a cover. And I guess there's going to be people that don't realise that Whiskey in the Jar is not a Metallica song, same as they think Am I Evil is a Metallica song. But
as I mentioned on the Glenn House podcast,
Blitzkrieg as well.
People do think that they hear the covers from Garage Inc. and they think they're all Metallica covers. These people do exist.
Metallica did some great covers back in the day. Some of their covers that they did are amazing.
Budgie covers.
Yeah, fuck, Bread Fans, a banger, yeah. Absolute banger.
Really hate the guitar tone on their version of Whiskey in a Jar.
Yeah, it's just like a big thick mesa boogie wall. But not what you want for that kind of song.
It lacks the openness of Eric Bell.
Yeah, there's just no finesse to it. It's quite ham-fisted. They're just kind of thumping it out.
I remember I heard an interview with Eric Bell quite recently where he was talking about Whiskey in a Jar, and I'm fairly sure he said he played it on 335, and then I think he put the solo over it with like on a Strat, so it's like a mixture of like 335 and Strat. I think certainly,
yeah, probably right.
Something humbuckery, and it was either a Les Paul or a 335. That's the predominant.
335 sounds familiar to me as well. I think I've read that story.
There you go.
So that, and for a similar reason, I'm putting Anarchy in the UK by Megadeth. Killed Richie, that one. For a similar reason. Again, I think there's a couple of words that are wrong in it.
Yes. Towards the end, on the original, it's another council tenancy. Obviously,
can we drop the C-bomb? Can we drop the C-bomb?
Yeah, you're fine, man.
It's permitted.
He says, like tendencies, doesn't he? Yeah.
Well,
you know what a council tenant was.
Exactly. An American's not going to know what a council tenancy is.
Nah. So, yeah, that... I can see why they thought it would work, because Dave's got that snarly, punky thing going on with his voice that Lydon's got, but...
Nobody can do John Lydon justice. He just can't.
Nah.
No, I'm just
can't because he's not a singer.
Yeah.
You can't do a cover of someone who's not a singer, I don't think. Because everything about that song is his vibe, his energy. It's not his vocal skills. So how do you then cover that? You can't.
I'm just going to throw in a little curveball on that cover. Is it a true cover?
Yes.
Here's where I spin things. I've read Dave Mustaine's autobiography.
He didn't write it.
He didn't write it.
He didn't write it. No, Dave didn't write Anarchy in the UK.
No, I've read his autobiography.
Yeah, he wrote that. Well,
and he says in the autobiography that he had Steve Jones come in and play guitar on it.
Nah, still a cover. Which is a cool story because he had a broken arm when he played it, which is cool. But yeah, still a cover.
Yeah.
Steve Jones is awesome too.
The only person
underrated guitar.
The only person I heard that did a reasonably good John Lydon was Scott Weiland. Did a cover of Bodies with Velvet Revolver. And his voice suited it really well. But even then, there was just that feeling of it's not quite authentic because it's not.
Because he's American.
Yeah. And there was certain words he's trying to pronounce and it just doesn't really work,
Yeah.
He got closest in tone to it, It just, no. Leave the Pistols alone. You can't do them. Stop it.
Yeah.
The only decent covers I've heard of Pistols songs have been by rough and ready lads playing in a pub band.
So
That's the closest.
Only decent covers I've ever heard of anybody doing the Pistols is when people who've been in the Pistols have done versions.
Yeah. Well, that's my rubbish ones.
Will we move on to Richie then? What's your shitty cover?
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of the band who originally did this song, but I might get shot for this actually. But I fucking love this tune.
No, this is shit.
Oh,
this is shitty.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. Aerosmith, Lord of the Thighs, from Get Your Wings.
Yeah.
Was covered in the early 1990s by a band called The Breeders, who were female fronted, and they took all of the sleaze out of the song, which is its appeal anyway. They took the groove, they took the little guitar effects that made, that feel to it, and they replaced Steven Tyler's unique style of expressing his vocals with spoken word and female fronted.
Which is not a bad thing, of course. We have to say that we like females.
Okay.
It is when you hear the original and you hear Steven Tyler just whispering off that sleaze in his voice. and then you replace it with a well-spoken Southern English woman just talking the lyrics.
I'm now sort
Does
of
it sound appealing?
in my mind. I can hear like Delia Smith reading it off the recipe. I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with the song, so I've got no frame of reference for this.
Surely you've heard Lord of the Thighs by Aerosmith. I mean, you like early Aerosmith.
Yeah, I've never heard the cover though.
Yeah.
I've
But
not
it does
heard either.
exist. It does exist. Lord of the Thighs by The Breeders.
Cool.
Check it out and
There's another song that we can't have.
try and forget about it as quick as you heard it.
Check out and be disappointed.
You wanted a crappy cover version. I've given you a crappy cover version.
All right, well, I suppose it's left to me then. So I'm picking one, but the second one's getting an honourable mention. And Steve actually mentioned this to me the other day, and it kind of put me in mind of what I'm talking about. So the cover song that I fucking hate, and I'm using the word hate here because it's actual hatred. I despise this. I hate hearing it. It offends me to the core. Is The Sound of Silence by Disturbed.
Oh, I forgot they did that one, yeah.
I'm going to get slaughtered for this because people fucking love this song for some reason.
It's bad, that one, isn't it? Yeah, it's really
I
bad.
don't understand the appeal of this cover version at all.
Oh, I don't understand the appeal of the band.
No, I mean, like, right, just from the offset, that song is a work of art. Pretty much everything Paul Simon wrote was godlike as far as I'm concerned, and Art Garfunkel's voice was exceptional. So you've got a stunning song to begin with two outstandingly good performers putting in an emotional performance on that song. Like, you can feel every word Art Garfunkel says in that fucking thing. It's just like right there. And then you get David Draymond, who,
Oh, yaka baka baka baka.
man, telling me that this is one of like great vocal performances on this song, and I'm like, no, Art Garfunkel had a great vocal performance. This guy sounds monotone and just it's horrible. It's everything I hate about modern vocals. It's so compressed. It's so without any warbles and pitch or anything. There's not even I don't even think there's any like particular vibrato in his voice at any point. It's just
processed.
Fuck. Yeah, man, and it's like I hate that. I hate it. I hate everything about it. It's so sterile sounding. You know, it stripped all the emotion out of what was a really emotional song.
Mm.
You know, you listen to Art Garfunkel, that could pull a tear out of you. This would be, you'd struggle to pull a fucking twitch of a muscle out of me with the Disturbed version. It's just no. But, and tying in with this, what we kind of talked about the other day was their version of Land of Confusion by Genesis.
Yep.
Which is also the same. It's just so flat sounding. It's horrible.
They murdered it.
Yep. And people love this stuff, and I'm like, no.
No.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's sort of. Oh, go for it, man.
No, you go.
It's sort of like, it just ties into this whole kind of thing about like why we are sort of outliers in the musical landscape just now is that we have a tendency towards the old authentic rock and roll sound, and it's just lost from this heavily produced, over processed dirge that seems to be the staple of rock and metal just now.
They don't want to hear a mistake. There's no mistakes. There's no, if a string goes slightly out of tune, it gets fucking fixed.
You don't even hear the squeak of the strings as the fingers are up and down them anymore. Ever.
You can't hear the room.
No. It's
anymore.
EMG pickups with the high gain amps, layered up to fuck, about 1 million layers of the same thing on top of it, and it just robs all the character out of anything. I want to hear squeaks, and I want to hear slight twangs of the guitar strings and shit.
It's not properly layering either. It's copy and paste job.
Yeah.
When it's proper layering, you can hear it.
Well, you get,
because you'll hear that slight difference in pitch.
Yeah, you get that chorusing effect when you do it. Even a wee bit of phase shifting and stuff. It's pleasant to the ears. it's what we talked about last time as well with the vinyl thing. You know, that slight distortion you get sound. It's just pleasant to the ears.
Warm.
Yeah.
It's from what we're talking now, it's a very digital thing. Like if you bought we're picking on Disturbed, but that's only because we don't like them.
That's fine.
If you bought a Disturbed record and put it on, it wouldn't sound better. I think vinyl wouldn't help.
One of my favourite YouTube channels is at Spectre Sound Studios. So chap
Glenn Fricker.
Yes, he hates bass players, and I'm a bass player, but I do agree with him about quite a lot of bass players and their just simple lack of ability. Anyways, I'm deviating. There is one episode that he does called "The Fans Deserve Better," and he emphasises on modern metal, just as the Perrys have just said, the way that it's done, and he comes across to the point, it's too polished.
It really is now.
Too polished.
A lot of guys now have moved to, like, a lot of the studios are using like Emperors and stuff now, and they're even like using the same patches. I mean, it's just everything's becoming so industry standards to a certain degree.
Albums have become the work of the producer now, more so than a band.
Well, that's there's a history thing. We can take that back because like that's how it used to be.
Yeah.
Then you've got everybody's favourite discussion point here, the Beatles.
Yeah.
Fuck this. We're doing what we want to do, and we'll make our own shit. And his name's escaped me now. It's going to come to me. Marvin Gaye. There's another guy who did this as well. He was one of those first artists who really got his hands. The first probably black artist who got to basically dictate to the studio and to the management stuff to what he was going to do, and it wasn't the producer that was in charge of his sessions for some of his later stuff, which is, you know, and then now we're kind of like going back full circle to that thing where just become a product for somebody else, you know, who's called.
You know where I think that started? Black Album. But Black Album and Bob Rock. So Bob Rock basically changed Metallica and did the Black Album, and it became this commercial behemoth, or behemoth, I don't know how you say that. But so many of these albums that we're talking about by a lot of these bands will cite the Black Album as the thing that kind of got them into metal. And I don't think that's a coincidence. It's an album that was made to create a certain sound, and I think it's kind of, it's not digital because obviously it was done before. It was still an analog album and shit, but
was the Black Album, that's the crossover kind of mainstream album for thrash. So do we think that was like, was that basically Generation MTV demanding that we have this type of music now on, you know, we need something palatable for selling on MTV? Was that where it was kind of coming from?
Well, that's where Metallica were. They did say they wanted to make an album that took them into the mainstream. I mean, they made no bones about it. They weren't like surreptitiously doing it. They did specifically want to have a hit record, and Bob Rock was the guy to do that. And it was a sellout. I don't think we can argue over that. I mean, they specifically said that they wanted the same drum sound as Motley Crue had on Dr. Feelgood, despite saying how much they hated Motley Crue back in the early 80s. So it is a sellout.
Called Sonic Temple. I mean, Lars Ulrich was impressed by the work Bob Rock had done on that.
Which is a great album, so
yeah, it's a great sounding album.
I don't hate the Black Album. I think it's a good album. I don't listen to it a lot. It's okay, but I think if you look at bands like Disturbed, like Avenged Sevenfold, a lot of the kind of more modern metal bands will harken back to that album as opposed to harkening back to, say, Master of Puppets as being kind of ground zero. I think that kind of set the tone.
Because we're kind of slagging bands a wee bit here, I'm just into that lineup of bands I'm throwing Five Finger Death Punch in there as well.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly that.
I never got them.
They're prime example. American Arena rock / metal. Really sanitized. You know,
nothing they've ever done is stuck in my mind. You know,
it doesn't have a lot of heart, I don't think.
You know, the band's got a lot of potential to use an individual when the song sticks in your head, even if it's just the melody, not necessarily the whole song. Nothing I've ever heard by Five Finger Death Punch does that. In fact, in terms of mediocrity, to me, I'd actually rank them below Nickelback.
You know what? One of the things I really dislike about a lot of this stuff, and again, it's just personal preference and personal opinion and things, but the singing, the style of vocals that now get used in a lot of these things, it's all the baritone guys with
interchangeable, isn't it?
no particular dynamic range, and I'm slightly picking on Five Finger Death Punch here a wee bit, but when their singer had some issues and had to take some time off, and they had a stand-in guy for
Phil Labonte,
the whole tour or whatever, and I watched the video
Phil Labonte
singing with them and all I could think of was, wow, that's 100 times better, because he actually had like and he was playing some vocal stuff and he was hitting some notes and things, and it was just a bit more subtle, but it was still, to me, just sonically way more interesting than some monotone garbage.
Phil Labonte he's more of a metal, fucking for the life of me, I can't remember his band. And it's ridiculous, I should know this. It's not As I Lay Dying, but it's something like that. So, I can't remember. Anyway, but he's more like a metalcore kind of screamer guy. A bit more rougher in the edges than you would get with Ivan from Five Finger Death Punch.
Basically the generic vocals of a lot of these, not just necessarily Five Finger Death, but a lot of these bands have the same bin, has exhausted itself as far as we're concerned. And what we're waiting for is, where's the next Michael Kiske or Rob Halford? You know?
Well, they're there, but they're there too. If you go into they're
there. Not on that level, though, if you know what I mean, in the public eye.
Nah, but I mean, as much as we have slagged Five Finger Death Punch, for them to even get where they are is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing...
To be a metal band playing arenas and to not be Metallica or Iron Maiden, it's fucking a massive achievement.
Yeah, and you can't take that away from them. They've done incredibly well, you know.
And it's all by pure fucking hard graft.
Yeah, it's not what
they've got nothing for free.
No, it's not what I want to listen to, but lots and lots of people do, and they've sold a fuckload of records.
Yeah, they have. Incredibly popular.
It's, you know, people really like that. I mean, that's the reason I suppose Nickelback are incredibly popular as well, is people really like that sound. There's a big market for it. Sad, you know, it is.
Yeah, Stu, I'd love to say something stupid and sarcastic and a load of jokes, but I have to agree with you.
I think a lot of it, it's not even so much the sound of the vocals that annoys me. It's more that one band does it and then everyone else does it. Because we're seeing that, like in our scene just now, there was a conversation, but you know the Nowadham full album's YouTube page.
Yeah.
We put our stuff up on there. Anderson from there put up a topic of kind of conversation on his Facebook page, and it was about just bands, like so many kind of vocals sounding like Rob Halford or Bruce Dickinson. And sure enough, if you go down on the bands that have been posted, it's just touching on your point, Richie. There's touching on your point. Thinking you watched Bottom last night, that's why that's from. But it's because they've heard one guy doing it and then they're copying it and they're doing a great job of it. But I don't want to hear another Rob Halford. There's one already. If I want to hear him, I'll go back and listen to him. I think there's a very few bands now vocally that you'll get someone who's not afraid to just put down a performance that's kind of honest and open and raw. And a lot of that is producers, because producers now are conditioned to want something that sounds perfect. So they won't let an artist, they won't let a dodgy take happen. Go and fix it, or you know what, I'll just fix it, let's put the old auto-tune on and we'll fix that.
Again, I see it from the other side, I suppose, because I've done it, you know, and I've been like the guy who sat there and said, no, fucking do that again. It wasn't good enough.
I was there the night you said that.
Because
that was hilarious, recording one song in the studio from out of town. Swanson sings a part, he looks happy with himself, Stu goes on the intercom, right, that was shite, do it again. I was in stitches.
There's a level of it, and like again, I've had it done to me where I've played something and it's been said, no, you can't, do it again. I've literally played the same part like 100 fucking times to try and get a take that's good. Sometimes I'll do the take and like the producer's like, oh, that's a good take, and I'm like, no, it was shit. I'm doing it again, and then I'll keep doing it until I get something I'm happy with.
I think like you say, like that's an example. You say, no, that's not good enough. That's shit. It doesn't necessarily mean it was poorly sang or poorly played. It could be missing something else.
Yeah, sometimes
it's not quantifiable.
Yeah, I might think like I want that part to have a bit more swing to it, or just some kind of general feeling I'm looking to get out of it, or like emphasis on a particular note that I never quite hit or something, and it's like, no, I need to get that. That's what I'm looking for,
I think with guitar, it's easier. It's not as organic a thing as a vocal. I think like with a vocal, someone singing and you can hear balls, passion, heart, but it's a bit wavery. I would always let it go. But I think there's a tendency for producers now to just want to fix everything. Everything's got to be, because it can go on radio sounding a bit wonky.
Does anybody, well, when I say anybody, I mean the areas, actually listen to commercial radio stations like Radio 1, Fourth One, Capital, whatever?
I hear them when I'm at work occasionally. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to like a building and it's playing over like a tannoy or something, and I'll just listen to it because it's on,
The music's interchangeable. You can't tell the fucking difference.
Yeah, I generally, I'm not hugely familiar with a, I know obviously I understand pop culture references. I'm not completely out of touch, but I couldn't tell you what the current charts are, put it that way. I might know some of the names, but I couldn't tell you what the hell they've put out.
Sure. The point I'm getting at there is this mediocrity that we've just highlighted within the world of rock is also in the pop world as well. 9 times out of 10 when I'm out with the missus in her car, and it's her car, she's got the rights to the radio, she puts what she wants on, and like I said, that's fair enough. And I hear pop music, it's probably the only time I really get to hear it, and honestly I just think that sounds exactly the same as the previous artist.
Well, again,
I'll hear the announcer announce something different.
Yeah, you still, and it's still really prevalent just now, is you ended up with the same producers just making the same stuff. It was the same set of plugins, the same studio, the micings, everything's done digitally, and
get a different lassie to warble over the top of it.
Yeah,
boom. Churn it out for the masses.
I'll probably get hung in the morning for saying this.
Say it
considering that I live in Livingston, but
Rich, are you often hung in the morning?
Well, I'm well hung in the morning. Oh, I couldn't do the sound effect. Now bugger. Right, when Lewis Capaldi had that big song, I think it was his only song. There was another one, but nobody remembers.
They're all the exact same.
No, I won't go into a slagging thing because, like I said, I'll probably get home in the morning to see it.
Well, I'll say it then. His voice is horrible.
Thank you.
Sounds like chips.
Thank you. And he's got a face like a melted welly.
Oh. That's not.
That was internet comment. I did not make that up. I saw a thread about him on the internet, and that was one of the comments on it.
I mean,
and the guy who made it was a mate of mine, and I'll not name drop him.
Obviously, what he looks like isn't a huge deal because I'm not going to talk about making music, but I don't like the song. I think his lyrics are trite nonsense, and the vocal performance particularly is like nails on a chalkboard. I don't understand when that's good singing. This is the same as I don't understand why people really like that David Draymond vocal and the bloody Sound of Silence or anything.
Does not appeal to me in any shape or form, and people think I'm worse than Hitler for saying that. But either way, fair play to the kid. Forgotten from going from a place like Bathgate, if that's where he's really from, because papers contradict everything.
Well, he's
to where he is now, that's great. But when I first heard that song, thinking, well, what's so great about this? He's basically taken an intro, which is similar to plenty of other pop songs and then stuck the melody line from Numa Numa on the top.
I mean, there's a million of these guys have been and gone through the ages, the singer-songwriters of the moment.
Yeah.
And they come and they go and they disappear as quickly as they're... I mean, do we think that Lewis is going to have a particularly long career in the spotlight?
I don't think so.
He's just going to be another James Blunt, isn't he?
Is he's 15 minutes up? Or I mean, like, what's he done recently? Anything?
He's got one album in him. Why are we talking about Lewis Capaldi?
He
Fucking
doesn't
move on.
social media stuff, but
Fucking hell.
music or anything, you know.
Seems to be more of a social media personality these days. I mean, people say his videos are funny and they send them to me, and I don't think that's funny. You know, it's like, yeah, wow, that's a sense of humour. Doesn't appeal to me. Sorry, Lewis.
Everybody's getting a fucking slagging tonight. This is what's happening here.
Yes. Who's next?
This isn't a monetized channel at this point, so fuck them. You know, they can't take anything from us.
No.
You
We've all given a rubbish cover, haven't we? So let's look at some other rubbish covers.
okay.
Here's one. Oh, if you remember this one, Machine Head's version of "Message in a Bottle." Anyone remember?
John, my best mate at school, absolutely loved that when it came out. He was getting ballistic for it. I didn't mind it, but yeah, it is bad.
No, that is a fucking hard song to play, by the way. And if you're not as good as Andy Summers, you shouldn't try.
Are you talking about the stretches?
Yeah.
The augmented chords?
That's a hard, even just like, it's, nah, just leave it alone. You should leave it alone.
Andy Summers is a beast on the guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, again, it's one of those songs, for me, it's a really typically English song by a very English sounding band.
Yeah.
I don't think you can...
It doesn't travel
well. Some songs just don't go across the channel very well.
Yeah. We can also in that case mention another like song that's incredibly English that should never have been touched on by an American act, and that's "Behind Blue Eyes" by Limp Bizkit.
Oh, I was going to do that one. That might be the worst one ever. That might be the worst one ever.
Stu, do you really have to remind us of that?
Minute of silence for Behind Blue Eyes, everyone.
It always reminds me of...
Now.
There's a great Bill Hicks sketch where he talks about polite English thuggery when he's going on about the hooligans. And then he starts singing Behind Blue Eyes, so nobody knows what it's like to be a dustbin getting kicked by a hooligan. And that's the first thing that comes to mind whenever I hear that Limp Bizkit version of it.
Again, I mean, like, I think a lot of it's to do. See, if you're picking a cover song, I think you have to be able to relate to the original in some way, maybe. Fred Durst can't relate to Roger Daltrey.
No.
There's no crossover there. No fucking
just
crossover
to make
there.
that Limp Bizkit cover worse. Towards the end, they put in that bloody awful bloody Commodore 64 voice doing that.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be saying something, but
I never got to the end, Richie. No fucking way.
Look, if you've had a mate ram it down your throat, you're gonna bloody hear it. Yes.
Best one yet.
No, towards the back end of that song, there's like a little.
Oh man, it's gonna be one of those nights.
Oh, bloody hell, Steve. You need to lay off the bottom DVD.
Yeah, Kyle.
Joe, I was just about to say about a good cover there. I was going to mention Faith No More, and there's a bottom reference in there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
But that wasn't my choice, so moving on. That Limp Bizkit cover.
Faith No More, that's a good one for... Yeah, carry on, keep going.
Easy, it's a good one. Towards the back end, there's like this BBC Micro Commodore 64 synthesized vocal. You know, we're old enough to remember these. You put the words into the computer, you press return, and it goes, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, or whatever. What the hell's that?
It's Limp Bizkit, isn't it? Rubbish. Rubbish song, rubbish band.
I want to erase Limp Bizkit's existence from mankind. I hated them back in the day.
Speaking of Limp Bizkit, when you type in metal cover versions into Google, guess what else comes up by Limp Bizkit?
Faith.
Yeah.
I used to laugh at that. I remember when it came out, I was laughing hysterically at it. I mean, people were saying, Richie, you should like this.
Faith sort of
No, I
worked
don't like it.
because the only, like, Faith, at least its credit, is done for comic effect. You know, they play it up, and they're not trying to be like, it's Behind Blue Eyes is he tries to be the same earnest singing that Roger Daltrey's doing, and he's not, you know.
Yeah.
At least
maybe it's the novelty effect. Like I mentioned, like when Steve mentioned Megadeth, these boots earlier on, you know, that's got a novelty effect, and I would say the same in Limp Bizkit's cover of Faith.
That was a thing in the 90s. That Alien Ant did that one too, remember?
That was the early 2000s. It was Michael Jackson.
Smooth Criminal. That was rubbish too.
Right, just keep going. I'm going to grab a drink.
Oh, this is a good one. Don't know if you'll recognise this one, Richie, but Children of Bodom did a version of Oops, I Did It Again.
No, I've never heard that.
You never heard that? Children of Bodom did some good covers. That was a funny one.
Halen by WASP springs to mind.
They killed that, yeah. And they also did a great version of Rebel Yell.
Wow, never heard that either.
Oh, banging. I think they might have done an EP with covers on it, or there's something somewhere that's got a bunch of other covers on it. They've done the Trooper as well.
Cover album. But it was the covers were all B-sides from...
Yeah.
And then they put them together on a compilation called Skeletons in My Closet, or something like that.
That was it, yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, their version of Rebel Yell is brilliant.
We did a particularly good version of Helion by...
We just said that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just mention that one.
Yeah, that was a banger too.
The Oops, I Did It Again.
It's a good one, that. Here's one that might split years.
Hey.
Oh, God. Fucking hell. Marilyn Manson's version of Sweet Dreams.
I like it.
It's not bad, is it?
No, thank you. No, thank you.
I quite enjoyed
it. I think it's a good version.
I like the Eurythmics version to begin with.
Yeah, it's a good song to start with. You have to start with a good song.
Now,
really,
if we're going down a Marilyn Manson tangent, it's worth also mentioning Personal Jesus.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Tainted
Love. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I've now got the Tainted Love keyboard sound going through my head.
It doesn't matter who covers Tainted Love, it's a hit.
Yeah.
There's a hint, lads. Maybe we should cover it.
Can you imagine?
No.
Tantrum Love.
Tantrum Love. Yeah. Yeah, Marilyn Manson did good. And speaking of that kind of 80s kind of Mark Hammond, but Gary Newman as well. Fear Factory did Cars.
Yeah.
That was not a bad version as well.
I like that.
That was alright.
Yeah. Yeah. Mind you, I like Fear Factory anyway.
Yeah, I liked them too. Here's one. Holy Diver by Killswitch Engage.
Oh,
no, thank you.
No.
No, thank you.
Send it to the bottom of the briny depths. In the fucking sea. It's awful.
I know you fucking hate that. I quite like it.
No.
My judgment on that one is based on personal opinion. When it came out, people are going mad for it. And people are giving it to me. They're saying, people are, forcing it at me. I'm thinking, have you heard the original, the Dio version? Yeah, it's crap. Sort of.
You can't cover Dio. Nobody can. Stop it. I don't care who you are. You've not got a voice for it.
No, I've never heard anybody do a respectable Dio cover.
Yeah, you're gonna struggle. Well, I quite liked it for what it was.
I haven't said that. Wait a second. Remember a couple of years ago we were booked to play that Firestorm in Motherwell.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a band on the bill called Crimes of Passion.
Yeah, I remember them.
From Sheffield. I saw them support Great White a long time ago, and they did quite a respectable live cover of Holy Diver. They kept it quite true to the original as well. It was quite respectable.
Wow.
Fair play.
Yeah. They should have recorded it, I think.
I don't believe they did. Never mind.
Anything else?
On shitty ones, I think we're done on shitty ones.
No, I want to throw a few in.
Go for it.
Throw some more. What else you got this shit?
Right. Steve. Battery by
Battery.
Black Totem.
Black Totem?
Black Totem.
Black Totem?
That was the name of the band, Black Totem.
Well, I've never heard it.
It had an ex-member of King Diamond's band in the lineup, and it was because the guy who sang in it was very, very nasally. It had his vocals sounded a little bit like a certain singer, so it was passed off on various file sharing services like Napster, etc. in the early 2000s as Megadeth's version of Battery.
Oh. I can't imagine it's any good, Richie, is it?
The phrasing of the vocals, when you compare it to James Hetfield's originals, will make you howl with laughter. And he doesn't even sound like Dave Mustaine. He's just got the thing about him. That's it.
Yeah, that's it done for rubbish ones.
Yeah.
Let's go good ones.
I'm trying to think of it.
Can I throw in one more?
Yeah,
yeah, fire away.
And this is a crossover. This is a crossover. This morning when I got up, I was listening to Raven, who I mentioned on the other week's podcast. And on their debut album is a cover of Hellraiser by Sweet, which is fantastic.
Oh.
There's also
I can see that working.
Oh yeah, it's a brilliant cover. It's just stripped down a bit and the tempo pumped right up. If you hear it, you're gonna bang your head. Anyways, halfway through, they change it and they do half of action as well. Now that leads into a good one.
Def Leppard.
Def Leppard. That's a great cover.
Another great version of Action was Steve Stevens on the Atomic Playboys album.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's a great
version.
version.
I've heard that. That's good.
That's a great album.
Now,
should have been.
When you look at it, Sweet have had a lot of songs covered. And to me, nobody's covered Love Is Like Oxygen, which is my favourite song.
Sweet themselves a cover band.
Sweet are a good band to cover because the B-sides were all kind of rock songs.
Yeah,
nobody really is that familiar with them apart from rock fans.
It's because it's like we're Sweet a cover band because all the songs that were big hits for them were somebody else. I mean, they were always usually the first people to record them, but they never wrote half of them, until
another one I briefly glossed on the subject today is if you can stomach it is the Mac Lads cover of Blockbuster when they changed it to Fat Bastard. That's funny. I don't care if it's politically incorrect, etc. I find it funny.
The Sweet were a brilliant band, though. It has to be said.
Sweet were great.
Yeah,
Sweet were great. Anyways, I found a bad one amongst the litter, and I should really wait until Steve gets back because I think Steve could probably relate to this more than yourself, Stu, to be honest.
Okay.
So if you want to throw in a Sweet cover while we wait for Steve to get back, feel free.
What are we doing here? Are we doing good ones or shit ones still?
Doesn't matter.
No, what have you got another
we'll cross over into part 2 using this.
I'm probably going to wait until he comes back as well because if I'm going to go into good stuff, it's going to be things that he's going to want to talk about. So we're really just now filling time whilst Steve goes and gets a beer. And I know for a fact that his kitchen is literally like 3 meters from that door. So he's taking his sweet ass time here, quite frankly.
Might have gone for a whiz.
He could have, and that's upstairs. I'm giving away the secrets of his house here, which will not be good if he ever gets.
The one that I was about to mention is a bad one, Matt. I forgot all about this for a long time. My teenage years absolutely loved it, but my mania, so to speak. Like I said earlier, that was my birthday in a week. I'm 3 years off 40. Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe I got this far. Anyways, my manias tell me that this is not a good cover version. Well, like I said, I'll wait for Steve to get back because with the genre that the band sit in, I think Steve can definitely relate to it. If he stepped into it, I was very, very shocked when he told me that he wasn't overly familiar with Overkill's back catalogue.
Okay. I'll be honest, Overkill is not a band I've hugely explored. I've got, I think, their first 2 albums, and I think that's it.
I love them. I've seen them like 3 times.
Here he comes.
Here he comes.
Part-timer.
Right, Steve.
I'm back.
We're just slightly glossing on sweet covers for a second there. I've got a bad one. Here we go. Saxon covered this as well. Heathen, Set Me Free. You ever heard that?
Was that a sweet song?
Sorry?
Was Set Me Free a sweet song?
Yeah, the one that Saxon covered.
Was that? I didn't really. I did not even know that was a cover.
Yeah. It's a sweet song. US Thrashers Heathen did a cover of it a few years after Saxon. Obviously, it's got that scoop guitar and whatnot, but
the Saxon version
potential's there, but it sounds too processed.
I'm surprised at the Saxon one. I didn't think that was a cover. There you go. I've learned something new. And that's what this podcast is all about, boys and girls. So
I never thought I'd be educating the heavy metal supremo of the band.
There you go. Every day's a school day, Richie.
We're going to move on to good shit then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Things that we like. Some, we're going to stop the slagging briefly, but we'll probably find a way to bring it back in.
We'll still slag them.
Who wants to start then? You want to start first, Steve?
Yeah, I struggled with picking between one, so I'm going to go with 2 because they're by the same band.
I know. Let's be honest, it's going to flesh out some time.
So, again, going on the principle that a good cover is when you really make a song your own, and to the extent where people don't even realise it's a cover, such as what we just mentioned. I'm going to go with 2 by Priest, and the obvious ones, Diamonds and Rust, and Green Man Alicia.
Well, thank God he didn't pick Johnny.
Not Johnny B. Good. No. But those 2, if you're like Diamonds and Rust, you would even think that was a Joan Baez song. That's a Priest song now, man. They own that. That's a Priest song. And Green Man Alicia to a certain extent as well. Fleetwood Mac were obviously more of a rock band anyway, so it's kind of less of a jump, if you like.
I'm going to drop a wee controversial bomb in here. I don't
you're wrong. Shut up.
Like your cover of Green Man Alicia very much.
That is brilliant.
I love it, but I'd much rather hear the Peter Green Fleetwood Mac era song.
Fucking hipsters. Shut up.
Because
not hipsters.
It could just be because
I said it years ago.
Wankers.
Green and Fleetwood Mac that I do, and I've played the Peter Green version to death. I love that song, and maybe that's why I just can't accept anybody else doing it.
Probably, but the Priest one's better. It just is.
I love them both, but I do prefer the original over the.
But yeah, Diamonds and Rust is probably more of a
Diamonds and Rust's a good shout.
Jump. Like, how would you even pick that to do as a cover? Like, it's mental.
Can I throw in a third one?
Yeah.
Better by You, Better Than Me.
Yeah, true. Again, I actually only realised that was a cover when I read KK's book.
Yeah. Spooky Tooth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again.
His guitar player went on to join Mutt to Oople.
Yeah, that's a Priest song now, like, definitely.
Tooth, 1 point.
And not many people would get that one. Nice one, Stu.
There's an in-joke for you.
We'll do honourable mentions after, so we don't spoil any years.
Okay. Is that you? Right. You want to move on to Richie then? What you got for us for good covers?
Okay, right. I'm going to bend the rules slightly. This is a cover of a cover. However, the band and song I've chosen is a cover of the... And I've gone cross-eyed. Is a cover of their cover of the original.
Yeah, I'm fucking lost.
I'm lost.
What's the song?
Joe South, Hush, covered by Deep
Oh,
Purple.
you knob. You knob. This is a rubbish song.
Covered by Deep Purple. Hang on.
Crap, Richie.
Hang on.
And covered by Cooler Shaker.
No.
Covered by Deep Purple again.
Covered by Deep Purple
Covered by
again.
Deep Purple again in the late
It was
80s.
still shit.
No, it wasn't.
I don't like.
No, it wasn't.
I didn't like the re-recorded Gillan version at all. He sounds so.
I do.
He's it's weird. He sounds like he's out of breath and struggling to sing it. That's a weird version of that. I've always felt.
He's had vocals damage by that point, but he lets out a lovely scream on there as well. And do you know one thing that brings that song just a little bit down? It keeps on going up and up and up. And just when Blackmore finishes its solo, you're expecting John Lord to just hammer the ivories. No, you get a harmonica solo. Brings it down a little.
I don't.
The time I heard that song was the Cooler Shaker version back in the 90s. And then I heard it was a Deep Purple cover, and I was like, oh, I'll check that out. I'm kind of digging Deep Purple. Listen to it. Shit.
I don't like any of the Deep Purple versions. I actually think Cooler Shaker have got the best version of that song.
Oh, I've opened up a lovely can of worms tonight, haven't I, lads? Yeah?
Cooler Shaker were great, and they did a fucking killer version of that song, and it suits them.
It's probably better than the Purple version, but it's still a shit song. You can't polish a turd, man.
No, I like that 80s version of Hush that Deep Purple did. It didn't quite have the groove of the original, but it had something else.
It
had some balls.
Perfect Strangers they did it on for the...
It was about that time. I'm not a fan of 80s Purple doesn't work for me, man.
It was after Perfect Strangers. It was Nobody's Perfect.
Right.
Purple for me are a 70s band, really.
Yeah.
That's very true. The best material came in the 70s.
It just doesn't, as an 80s band, it just doesn't, with an 80s production anyway, it doesn't work.
I can listen to them up to the Tommy Bolin album, and then after they broke up after that, I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
I've never really got into their newer stuff. I quite like the one they did with Joel and Turner because it sounds a bit like Rainbow album.
Yeah, 80s Deep Purple is Rainbow.
But not as good because they kind of didn't suit their sound and the vocals and stuff particularly. I don't think the 80s Purple trying to go a bit more AOR until they got Joel and Turner in, and then it sounded fine.
Yeah.
Like Rainbow.
Yeah.
Well, sorry lads, I'm sticking my guns. I like that cover. Cover of the cover.
Stu, who you got?
Me, I've gone back and forth a couple of times on this one. I've got actually loads of covers that I really like that I could think of. Who am I going to actually pick though? That's the question. It's gone dead air again.
Have you not picked one by now? For all fucking week.
I've just been picking and kind of flip-flopping in it, so I'll just fuck it. I'll just pick the one I was going to do originally, I suppose.
We'll talk about the other ones anyway. So it's fine.
Which is "The Real Me" by The Who, covered by WASP on the Headless Children album.
Yeah,
that's. I mean,
the WASP version's better.
You what?
The WASP one's better. It's better than the Who version.
I don't know. I mean, I enjoy the Who's version a lot, but I really like WASP's version. Blackie sounds killer on it.
It does.
It's got Chris Holmes's big guitar sound. It's just, I mean, that whole album, The Headless Children's, kind of lost WASP album weirdly. It doesn't get kind of the kudos to the first two. And to me, it's way better, probably. It might even be my favourite WASP album. I really love The Headless Children's. Great.
Keep it going, lads. Need to make a call.
Yeah, good choice, man.
It's great. It retains the original feel of you know, that kind of rebellious teenage anthem-y type thing that the Who were really good at. WASP also sort of embody that kind of spirit in many ways.
Yeah, Blackie's voice is just like raw, ragged, really kind of throaty.
It's in the same kind of ballpark as
but angrier.
Yeah, they've got I mean, the Who kind of had that. I mean,
they
had that sort of we'll fucking fight you kind of attitude, you know, and WASP kind of put that across as well. And it sounded great. The production on the Headless Children is really nice. The guitars sound good. The drums sound good. I think there's even a video for it. I'm fairly sure it was a single. So obviously somebody thought it was good at the label because they chucked some money behind it. But I think like the second one I was going to do, which is, or this could have been my first choice, was Whitesnake, Ain't No Love in the Heart.
I knew. I thought that's what you would have went for.
And that's a kind of an obvious one in many, because that's become so synonymous with Whitesnake. Most people, that's another one of those songs that most people don't even know as a cover.
Exactly. Bobby, was it Bobby Womack? Is that right?
Bobby Bland.
I knew it was a Bobby.
Hey, and you know, it was a far more kind of bluesy affair and stuff. And there's a great story. Mick Hucknall covered it a couple of years back.
Oh, I can't imagine that was good.
He put a version of it out, and a lot of people, he got some kind of a bit of heat for it, because people started apparently, you know, just giving him a bit of shit about recovering this cover of what they would say to him. Oh, I can't believe you could done a Whitesnake song.
Mick Hucknall.
Yeah. And then he was like, "No, it's a Bobby Bland song," you know. And he was like, "I'd never even heard the Whitesnake version."
Is it Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City?
Yeah, but I mean that's
Paul
like.
Weller covered that as well.
Oh, okay.
Paul Weller did he? I can actually hear that. I can hear that working.
Well, I mean, it's one of those sort of R&B staples, and you know, a standard. But a lot of people don't know it, other than the Whitesnake version. You know, it's become it's one of those songs that Whitesnake always play. I think it's probably been in the set list every concert ever they've ever fucking done.
Brilliant song.
It is, and it's a great song, and it suits Coverdale perfectly. And Bernie Marsden's guitar solo and Mickey Moody's actually, because the pair of them think solo on it. That's great stuff.
I used to cover that one, the covers band, and from what I remember, it's a long time ago. I used to handle both solos despite us having two guitar players, from what I remember. Then again, I've probably consumed about 50,000 pints since then, and I'm probably talking bollocks.
Did we cover that, Richie?
No.
So I think we didn't. I think we kind of mooted it. I'm fairly sure we tried it or something.
We talked about a lot of things, Stu, but we never played that one.
Yeah.
So, honourable mentions.
Yeah.
What else you got?
One that I quite like, I'm pretty sure you guys will disagree with this. In fact, I know you will, Stu. Is Wicked Game, when Him covered it.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, bugger. Just mentioned there, I used to play that Whitesnake song in a covers band. I used to play that as well.
I think they did a great version of it. Really good version.
It was pretty good, like.
I like the Chris Isaac version, but no, the rest of them could fuck off. Did Stone Sour not do it as well?
Never heard that.
You might be right, yeah.
Never heard it.
Yeah, you could be right. I think Him did a version of Rebel Yell as well, actually. It wasn't as good as the Bodom version, though.
Honourable mentions. There's plenty from the Van Halen back catalogue.
No, there's not.
No, there is.
Yes, there is.
Oh, God, here we fucking go again.
Well, obviously, Stu's Van Halen daft, and I've recently rediscovered my love for Van Halen after 20 years. You know, there's so many in there, and more than You Really Got Me. You know, there's You're No Good, Where Have All the Good Times Gone. There's plenty of covers in the Van Halen discography that are brilliant.
You're No Good's a particularly good example because it sounds absolutely nothing like the original version.
And I like innovation in a cover if it brings a new dimension to it.
I think Dave talks about that in Crazy from the Heat, where that was one of those things where they'd gone in to record, and Ted Templeman had basically said to them, "What else you got?" And then they were like, "Well, we've been." I think somebody mentioned it, but they hadn't worked it out or anything, so they kind of roughly knew what the song sounded like. But then they just kind of knocked out a backing track that sounded absolutely nothing like what You're No Good sounded like when Linda Ronstadt sang it. And it sounds nothing like it, but they turned it into like a proper rocker.
But just to bring it back into the bad category, I love the way it builds up. Pretty Woman's a bit of a
Pretty Woman. Even Roy and Van Halen's versions have just, I think, been slightly overplayed. They're in that category now of a bit too much. But I can listen to it endlessly. I never get tired of listening to Eddie and Dave.
As soon as I put that first Van Halen album on, I'm stuck with them until the end of 1984.
Now,
these days, I will discover the Sammy Hagar discography of them.
If we're picking Van Halen songs that were covers that weren't particularly good, there's the controversial version of Dancing in the Streets.
I was about to mention that.
Diver Down, yeah.
Mm.
So if you're not familiar with the story, Eddie had apparently started working on like a track with keyboards and stuff, and he had a riff, and he played it for them. And it was either, again, Ted Templeman, I think, had said, "Why don't you do another cover?" And he'd suggested Dancing in the Street, or Dave had. And they said that, well, that's the same chords progression as that song, so let's use that and make a cover out of it. And Ed wasn't happy because he wanted to make his own song, and he felt like he got forced into it. But
that makes a lot of sense. I do remember reading an interview with Eddie Van Halen where he said it took him 4 years to finally get the band to cut Jump to a record. So, he would have been experimenting with synthesizers at the time of
well, weirdly enough, for Van Halen,
Warning and things like that.
They're kind of forever. They did a lot of covers in those early records, but like Eddie's on record quite a few times as saying he really didn't like doing covers, despite the fact he did quite a lot of them. There's some, there's a kind of quote thing where he's like, he'd rather sink by his own material than float on somebody else's, and
which is a great quote, but he didn't fucking do it.
Well, it was like record company pressure and management and production and stuff. They basically told them, we own you, this is what you're doing.
Where Have All the Good Times Gone's a great cover.
Yeah, I mean, it is. They did a lot of great covers. Where Have All the Good Times Gone's really good.
And even David Lee Roth into his solo era. You got Just a Gigolo, which, all right, it's a novelty factor there, but it's enjoyable.
That's kind of a
Tobacco Road.
Yeah, Tobacco Road was good.
Oh,
it's a great version. Steve Vai's guitar playing on that's killer. The riff and stuff.
That version of Tobacco Road is what takes me into my bad cover, so to speak, because I discovered that Breeders version of Lord of the Flies through a project when I was in sixth form, comparing cover versions, and it was quite a wide scope on this cassette that I was given and supposed to do a synopsis of. There was it the Nashville Teens did the original Tobacco Road, the original version, is it? Yeah. That was on there, plus David Lee Roth's version in Spanish.
That album's mental. If you ever get a chance to hear that, Eat 'em and Smile in Spanish. It's Anita Sunrise. It's really, it's Dave singing the whole album in Spanish.
And there was others on there. There was Could It Be Magic, written by Barry Manilow, I believe. And obviously Take That. Aerosmith, Lord of the Flies, The Breeders. And there was, can't remember who did the original. The song was called Money, That's What I Want. And then there was Yoko Ono's version on, which was... but that's when I heard that one that I mentioned, the Aerosmith cover earlier.
Well, Steve had another.
Really rocked on some good covers.
What was the other cover on Eat 'em and Smile? That's Life.
Yes.
Good version.
Yeah, that is good.
Dave Lee Roth's got, I remember hearing I can't remember who said it. Who was that? Somebody, it was like a review or something of I think it was Barcelona by Freddie Mercury had come out.
Mm.
And somebody mentioned that like only 2 people in the world, no, it was The Great Pretender, the song. And somebody had written some quote somewhere about like, only 2 people in the world could ever have done a cover of that song, and that was Freddie Mercury and David Lee Roth. The only 2 versions would ever work. Like,
I could see David Lee Roth covering that very well, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave's voice lended itself well to covers. But again, it's probably because they started off doing their whole, like, when they were a club band, they did like
cover band, yeah.
So they had to learn to do like just whatever the standards of the day were. Because lots of bands did that. That's kind of a lost thing now. It's how like people found their style,
by being cover bands.
Aye, and they would throw in their own material in between, and then they would just kind of evolve it as they went. There was a lot.
Sorry, Stu.
Well, it's how you developed your own phrasing and stuff, and we kind of talked about this with guitar players, how like everybody learns from the same sources now. But if you had to learn a bunch of cover songs, you just learnt them the way you could play them, any way you could fit it in.
Yeah,
use that as the basis for writing your own stuff. Yeah. That's kind of been lost a bit now.
Yeah.
Like Led Zeppelin, their entire first album.
Well.
It's all cover songs, isn't it?
We don't even...
You're absolutely right, mate. Even early Deep Purple stuff's mostly covers as well.
You don't need to say... Yeah, but...
Like Hush.
At least they credited people for it.
Yeah.
Although Willie Dixon gets a lot of credit on Led Zeppelin's first album now, and the second one, I think.
Yeah.
Well, originally he didn't.
Yeah. But he's on them now.
He's
poor
dead
fella
on
can't
the
live on the
Brits,
royalties of them, though, can he?
What else we got?
Well,
Iron Maiden did some good covers.
I was about to say that. Now that me and Stu have eliminated you with Van Halen, I was going to bring in a very extensive Iron Maiden back catalogue of B-sides and covers.
The way they did B-sides was good because they never really put B-sides on albums. It was always more of a laugh. B-sides covers, sorry. The crowd covers as B-sides, too much aside.
That was the Children of Bodom did the same.
I like the side.
Aye, the whole. I think that's probably the best way to do a cover, unless you're really fucking good at them. Like do it as a bit of a laugh on a B-side. So Maiden always did a cover as a B-side back in the 80s anyway. One of the best ones probably when they started was I've Got the Fire, the Montrose song. They did it with Diano and they did it with Dickinson as well. The Diano one's better.
There's two.
Really
There's two because they done Space Station number 5 as well later on.
Yeah, that's not as good. That was kind of when Bruce was kind of maybe starting to check out a little bit, and it's more of a fun thing, that one. It's more of a laugh.
That first album's been covered by a load of people. Most of the tracks off that.
Cross-Eyed Mary is a good one too. The Jethro Tull cover.
Can't comment because I've never heard the Tull version. Same with the
Tull version is probably better because it's that thing where Ian Anderson's got that weird quirky voice. It's hard to capture that same vibe.
There's other ones which I've heard, Maiden's versions of, which I've never heard the originals of, like Kill Me Ce Soir, Rainbow's Gold.
Rainbow's Gold's good. King of Twilight's a really good one. And I couldn't tell you the original band though. But it's a good cover.
Massacre's a good one.
Yeah, the only thing with that is they kind of did it in the 80s and it had that kind of processed 80s guitar tone, which I don't feel worked with a Lizzie song.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you're going to cover Lizzie, it's kind of similar to my Metallica issue.
Yeah.
Bringing the novelty factor in there, you've also got Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, they did that, yeah, that's right, yeah.
What song did they do? Was it Hocus Pocus?
Hocus Pocus by Focus.
Hocus, Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
I mean, putting Nico in to do the yodely bits.
B-sides are
just do what he wants.
B-sides are a lost art, man.
Yeah.
B-sides were great. Maiden were the best at doing B-sides. Because they do covers and they do like pissing about. You'd have like, there's a Maiden box set that I've got that's got it's got the Live at Hammersmith album, it's got BBC Sessions album, and it's got one that's just all the B-sides on one record, and there's one of them that's just Nico outtakes from like his studio mic being left on, and it's fucking gold.
Is that Listen with Nico?
No, it's a bit no, but it's like that. It's there. That's a different thing. No, it's just like from outtakes of them doing like Evil Let Men doing stuff, and Nico's mic's been left on. It's got him swearing and doing his Idi Amin impressions and stuff. It's just fucking great. Really funny. You get a chance.
I want to hear these, Steve.
So I'll need to try. I'll burn it for you and give you a copy. I won't burn it because that's illegal. I'll let you hear it and you can buy it.
Dankeschön. You let me hear it.
Yeah.
You let me hear it in some shape or form.
Yeah,
and I'll
definitely.
put it on mini disc.
Yeah. Or 8-track.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maiden have got some great covers in this country. I mean, we didn't mention there's a couple of, dare I say, classics, but at the same time overplayed ones in terms of the originals, which is Communication Breakdown.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that much. Doctor was a bit rough as well. But that was in the Blaze years.
Well, my favourite was an A-side.
Women in Uniform.
Women in Uniform.
That's a good song, man. I like heat for that. I actually like, ones, we're going to do an Iron Maiden rabbit hole here, but I like the Adrian ones. Like in the Lacy years, Stranger in Strangeland covers. Juanita is a good
was
one.
Was Juanita a cover?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was it Stray? I'm not sure. Juanita, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a entire population of Hackney job. May not have been.
I know. Reach Out was an entire original.
You might be right. Juanita might be as well. I'm not sure.
But That Girl, which is B-side to Stranger in a Strange Land.
Skyhooks, was it?
No, that was allegedly.
Oh no, that was Women in Uniform. IFM. Well, yeah, Andy Barnett and the other guy who was in Bad Company, Dave Caldwell.
According to a blog that I read by Andy Barnett a couple of years ago, yes, he majority wrote that, but the Iron Maiden version is truer to the way that he wanted it than FM's original version, as they put it, which was recorded first.
I think they're probably the most interesting B-sides that Maiden did, the Somewhere in Time ones, because it kind of shows you where Adrian was going. It's like he's all over them, but the rest of the band weren't really as fussed. It's all Adrian Smith stuff. And you can hear, when you listen to the Adrian Smith solo record, Silver and Gold, it's really kind of similar vibes to it. Good stuff.
I love those B-sides and leftovers from Somewhere in Time. I mean, the likes of Juanita and That Girl couldn't have been used on Somewhere in Time. Wouldn't have fit.
No, they weren't Maiden songs, and I don't think even if you listen the Listen with Nico sessions, basically say that I don't think the rest of the band were even really involved in them. It was mostly just Adrian and Nico doing it.
But they're bangers in their own right.
They're great songs. Yeah, great songs.
And for trivia, That Girl is the only Iron Maiden song, allegedly, that Steve Harris does not play bass on.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Adrian did it.
Apparently so. Even though it does sound just like him.
It does, yeah. And it's pretty unmistakable.
Well, if you've been around him enough, you probably pick a few bits and pieces up.
Yeah, probably. And then, of course, you've got the Metallica covers.
Yeah, there's been a lot of them.
I recently acquired that album this week, Garage Inc. I had it years ago on CD, got stolen.
Is that the original one or the ones with everything on it?
No, not the Garage Days EP. The original Garage Inc. with the late 90s stuff and the Budgie,
everything.
Diamond Head, etc. I had it on CD about 20 years ago, and I wanted to replace it recently, so I purchased the triple vinyl.
They didn't actually fuck up too many covers. They for all the covers that they did, most of them are good.
Yeah. They're a pretty good hit rate.
Yeah, considering the amount that they did. So What was a good one. I always liked So What.
You got to remember as well is well, the stratospheric success of Metallica and people buying Garage Inc. and the Garage Days with Visit EP. There was a lot of scope there for people to go and check out these bands that they've covered. Those who actually pay attention rather than just put it on thinking, oh, it's Metallica, man. Those who actually read the sleeve notes. It's like, who's he? Who are they? I better go check them out.
There's musicians in England whose mortgages have been paid off by Metallica. Absolutely. And like Lars did that compilation, that Northern compilation album as well. So he kind of was curating it. And he's, for all you say about him, he's shone a light on pretty much all those bands.
Oh yeah, you know, Lars, to his eternal credit, has always been a music fan.
Yeah.
He's cheerleaded and championed a lot of bands who kind of went under the radar, and he's always made a point of mentioning them. You know, he's never taken credit for doing anything for, you know, they've never been one of those bands who've like taken the credit for a cover as their own work. No,
they always said where they were coming from.
They did in their early days. They admitted it. They said, "I will put in a few Diamond Head songs or set this and pass them off as their own." But once they got some success behind them, it's a case of well, it's been documented before. Lars Ulrich helped Brian Tatler sort out his royalties.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you like about Lars Ulrich. If I wore a hat, I might borrow yours, Stu. I'd take my hat off to him.
Yeah. Just going to reach for my magic hat there.
But yeah, there's a lot of folk that wouldn't have heard of Blitzkrieg or Holocaust or Annie Nowhere League. Sweet Savage, yeah, God, yeah. Whether if they hadn't heard of, if Metallica hadn't done the covers, they wouldn't have heard of them. So, yeah, man.
Absolutely. And that's, well, if you got it on CD, it's disc 2. If you got it on vinyl, it's disc 2 and 3.
What was the Merciful Fate one that they did? That was good.
That was, believe it or not, that was on disc 1. If you got it on CD, that was a 90s cover.
Yeah.
And that was very good. So was Free Speech for the Dub.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, covering the likes of the Bad Seeds and...
Yeah, that was a bad one.
You know,
Turn the
Whiskey
Page
in
wasn't
Jars
great.
eventually.
Yeah, that was rough.
But,
we're in the low era at that point, so yeah, everything was a bit ropey.
Yeah. So, Garage Inc.'s a thumbs up from me, man. I actually love that record.
I think that's the way to do covers, I think. Just do it for a laugh.
Yeah. And if you listen in particular, the 4 Motorhead covers at the back end of the album, they were recorded in the mid-1990s, I believe, as part of Lemmi's 50th birthday.
Yeah, you're right.
You can hear Lars Ulrich make a lot of mistakes on them drums. And they left them in.
Yeah, because that's what you should fucking do. Leave mistakes.
And you can if they were Metallica songs professionally recorded, they would have been spliced.
Of course.
And, you know, toned up, etc. No sample replacement in them days, but... just
a razor blade.
Razor blades, yeah. I've been learning how to do that this week on my new reel-to-reel player.
Fucking hell.
But they left the mistakes in, which proves that Metallica were doing it just for let's throw out a few Motorhead covers and have a laugh while we're doing it.
Yeah.
B-sides and stuff were just considered throwaway. I mean, it was what you used up at the end of the studio sessions when you had, you know, chuck down some B-sides and covers.
But there's no need for it now anymore because B-sides don't exist.
No.
Really? Nobody does singles?
It's crap, isn't it?
It's a dead form.
It's crap. You'd think it would have come back with the whole vinyl resurgence, wouldn't you? But it never did.
No. I mean, like, is there vinyl resurgence in itself? I'm going down a rabbit hole here, but is it really a thing? I mean, nobody's still shifting numbers in enough quantities for it to be considered a big enough industry to merit doing extra stuff like that. I know they're selling more copies now than they did before, but it's still nothing like what it used to be.
I don't think you would get away with doing singles.
No, I mean, you just wouldn't.
Like, I don't see that ever coming back. I mean,
You get people put out like split 7-inch singles and stuff, but they're like limited to like 100 copies.
Yeah.
It's very small numbers, and they don't
It's
make
a cool novelty thing.
They don't make any headway outside of diehard fan bases.
No.
The only way singles will make any form of a comeback is if it's strictly one-off. It's not going on the album. That's coming. It's a one-off, and only
But with
diehard fans and collectors would buy it.
Yeah, with streaming now, it's not necessary because you can just stream the entire back catalogue.
Yeah.
It's like,
But if you were to make that single unavailable for streaming,
yeah, nobody's going
You
to
have
do
to have big balls to do that. Like,
that. Nobody's doing that. Everybody's putting their stuff straight on a Spotify now.
funny enough, today I was browsing through Spotify because I've just upgraded to premium. It's part of an experiment.
Splatter.
I beg your pardon? Sorry, what
Wreck.
did you say, Stu?
It's Splatter.
Apparently Spotify's bitrate is 192 kbps. But if you go to premium, it goes up to 320. Which
And
of
you
course
don't
is
notice a fucking bit of difference.
You're absolutely right, it doesn't. Hence why I'm glad it's just on the free trial.
Yeah.
Now, I was going through Accept's back catalogue this morning on Spotify. And the first two albums, plus Restless and Wild, are missing.
Some kind of label dispute or something.
Could well be. Could well be. So when you put on Fast as a Shark, you get the demo version.
Weird.
Yeah. Everything else is there, but not the first two, which hardly anybody knows anyway. I mean, Breaker was the first one that most people remember. And Restless and Wild, which in my opinion is probably their best album, is not available.
Well, we've had this discussion already. For me, it's probably Blood of the Nations.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not agreeing with you. Accept have just done so many great records.
They have. When you got enough from it's a luxury to be arguing over two different records.
Sure.
Some bands in themselves just lend themselves well to cover songs. You know, like some bands who have had like their entire back catalogue covered. Like the Kinks, when we're talking about the Van Halen stuff, tons of people have covered Kinks.
Yes. Yeah.
Another band who've been covered like a million times is Creedence Clearwater Revival. Like John Fogerty's songs have been done by so many people, and they became every time people did them, they became hits. I'm thinking like "Heard It Through the Grapevine," Marvin Gaye cover, brilliant. Creedence.
I did not know that was a cover. Thank you.
Creedence's version of that's great. Proud Mary, Ike and Tina. You know, oh god, there's tons. Rocking All Over the World.
Yeah. No, wait, wasn't that John Fogerty?
Yeah, but I mean, it's still, he fucking did all Creedence, so he is Creedence, really. It's not just...
Aye, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fogerty was Creedence, and like all their songs were covered, and they were great.
Yeah.
They were always good, you know?
Aye. And slightly less could be said of Russ Ballard and Argent.
Yeah. Although he was more touting himself as songwriter for hire, I suppose, really more than anything else.
Songwriter for Rainbow.
Yeah.
Kiss.
as you mentioned before, Stu, Kiss. Slightly, Uriah Heep had a semi-hit with semi-hit with a cover of "Hold Your Head Up," which is another Russ Ballard tune.
I'll tell you,
So,
if we're talking
Argent or a good feeder band.
if we're talking Kiss stuff, we've covered "God Gave Rock and Roll to You" and stuff. We'll move on from that. But Ace Frehley did some good covers. I really like Ace's cover of ELO's "Do Ya." It's on albums on Ace's album Trouble Walking, where he covered Kiss's "Hide Your Heart" as well.
He just did a cover album
Yeah.
recently, didn't he?
Yeah, he did a whole album of covers, and he's got a second one coming out next year called Origins Volume 2.
Cunning.
On the subject of Kiss and their various splinter groups, etc., how many bands have covered Vinnie Vincent's "Back on the Street"?
Oh yeah, it's been covered a lot.
Yeah. And apart from the original, what was the best?
Vinnie wrote a
Probably
lot.
John Norum.
Vinnie wrote a lot of songs for a lot of people though, as well. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah. And actually, I prefer Vinnie's version of "Back in the Streets" to the John Norum one. I think.
Yeah, me too. Although the John Norum cover is very good.
It is good. It's a good song. You know, Vinnie wrote great songs. We've mentioned this several times. You know, I think for all the madness that surrounds Vinnie Vincent, the one thing you can't really take away is the fact that he wrote great songs, and it's the reason they were always like he's got like a big catalogue of hit songs to his name, because he is a good songwriter. And I really, if you're listening, Vinnie, go and write some more songs and put another fucking record out. Stop fucking about.
You can write one for us if you like.
There is a good chance he is watching this, because Vinnie seemingly likes to explore the world of the internet a lot. But, you know, stop fucking about. Go and get the guitar on and get fucking playing.
Oh, by the way, fucking Ride Like the Wind, Saxon. There's one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, bugger. Aye.
That's a brilliant cover.
Good cover.
Yes.
Christopher Cross, who is he not sadly departed?
Oh, I don't know.
I know the guy from Crisscross has departed.
I'm just going to check this because I don't want to announce somebody is dying and then they've not actually died, but I'm fairly sure.
Might get us subscribers. Just Crisscross, did you say? Did you who?
Aye, Crisscross. Do you not remember that those two young
Yeah.
English rappers? Aye.
Yeah.
One of them died a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Oh no! Right, I'm now withdrawing it. Christopher Cross did not die.
I didn't think so. No.
Well, it was a guy from Crisscross. It's that man named Jump.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. They had their own TV series.
Right,
Yes, he did.
I'm going to have to retract my statement about Christopher Cross here, so I'll have to get it out.
So in short, Stu, you got Christopher Cross confused with Chris Cross.
No, he's not dead, but he's been very ill with coronavirus, where he was paralysed and shit.
What the?
Fucking hell.
Yeah, but it says he's recovering.
He's alright though.
Let's wish him all the best.
Aye. Cheers, Chris. All the best, you.
You can go back to your shitty hip hop talk.
Now, Steve, you mentioned earlier about Judas Priest and cover versions.
Indeed.
I'm going to bring one into the Judas Priest family, so to speak. And it's not Judas Priest. It is heavily related, though. In fact, you couldn't get much more related than this. And unfortunately for me, it's a bad one. Glenn Tipton's solo version of Painted Black.
Oh, see, I've not heard it and I already know it's bad.
Is that from that Tipton solo album?
Yes.
That's a horrible record. I don't like it.
I've not heard it. Who sings on it? Does Glenn sing on it?
I believe so.
I have to look it up. We're so professional.
No, I remember hearing that song in a rock nightclub around the turn of the millennium. And think, who the hell is that? So I went to DJ, I said, who's that? He goes, oh, it's Judas Priest. I goes, no, that's not Judas Priest. That's not Rip Owens. No, it's Judas Priest, mate. Anyways, we went back and forth for 5 minutes. And said, that's not Judas Priest. Thanks to the advent of the internet, I looked it up, and it was a Glenn Tipton solo song. And it's bad.
He was doing the lead vocals on it. I've actually just discovered by looking this up that he did a second solo album. I thought he only had the one. I've never heard the second Glenn Tipton solo album.
It was Baptism of Fire and another one.
It's Tipton, Entwistle and Powell.
I've heard that.
Really?
That's pretty good.
Edge of the World, 2006. But it was recorded in 94. It was posthumously released, because obviously Cozy was long dead by that point.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's tracks that were not released on Baptism of Fire.
I don't believe it's just John Entwistle on bass on that. I think Billy Sheehan plays on it as well.
I'm just pulling up the tracks. Tipton, Entwistle and Powell. No, Neil Murray did some additional bass, and Don Airy did some keyboards. And other than that, it's Tipton, Entwistle and Powell.
No, Billy Sheehan did something with Glenn Tipton. It might have been on Baptism of Fire.
Yeah, it's Baptism of Fire. He played on Baptism of Fire and Extinct.
On another subject, covers, etc. Mr. Big did some pretty good covers as well.
Oh, they also did some horrible ones as well. They're the Cat Stevens song?
Wild World.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate.
Oh no! I like that. I like it.
No.
It's better than that reggae version that was floating about in the early 90s. I'll tell you that.
That's fair enough, but it's not one of their finest moments for me.
Look at this time.
That's a great tune.
Yeah.
Forgetting the guy's name who did it originally.
Me too.
Don something.
Me too. I only know it's a cover because, well, sleeve notes cover done for fun.
It's
CDFF.
one of those tracks that was on an album that just didn't really do anything. Find the guy's name, because otherwise it sounds like I'm being a bit of a dick slagging him off. Although that's yeah. Oh, fuck. There we go. Lean into it. This isn't just Jeff Paris. That's the guy. So yeah, you can find Jeff Paris solo records and he was doing the same kind of thing. There was an Eric Martin solo band at the same sort of a time, and they were doing like writing together and stuff. But yeah, it's on one of his solo records, and it's the Mr. Big version. It's arguably better.
It is a great song from a great record.
Yeah, and Mr. Big were a great band.
I'm just going to speak up on behalf of an absent band member tonight. Stephen Swanson couldn't join us.
Sympathy for the Devil was his favourite.
Well, his suggestion, when we talked about the podcast and the topics, he suggested All Along the Watchtower. It's a great cover.
Yeah,
can't argue with that.
I have to agree with him.
Jimmy had a great way of taking songs and making them his own, and he absolutely did that.
At the same time, there's a lead on there. Stevie Ray Vaughan done some bloody good covers and all.
The Little Wing.
Little Wing.
We Do Child.
Superstition.
Which, see, there's an interesting song, because Stevie Wonder's version is technically a cover. But he wrote it, which makes it weird. But the original version's Jeff Beck, Tim Boulder.
Really?
Piece. Yeah, so the story is that, like, I don't know how it was instigated, but they ended up, Jeff Beck and Stevie Wonder had a sort of agreement to write each other a song. I can't remember how this came about. I'm butchering the story slightly, but they wrote the song.
Oh
and Beck Bogart a piece, recorded it, and we're going to put it out. And then Stevie Wonder's label, I think, heard it, and they're like, "Oh, that's a great fucking song." So then they got Stevie to record his own version and put it out on his album. And I think Stevie Wonder's version ended up coming out like a ever so slightly before Beck Bogart a piece because they had an issue with their label or something. And his version technically came out first, but was recorded second. They'd already heard the first version and decided it was so good it was going to be a hit. So they
Did not know that.
They sort of undercut the Jeff Beck version by slipping their one out first. And then he felt bad about it, and he gave them, because we've ended as lovers on, is it on Blow by Blow or Wired?
Blow by Blow, I believe.
Blow by Blow. And that was like apparently it's supposed to be like a peacemaking deal with Jeff Beck from Stevie Wonder. Like, sorry we fucked you a bit on that record. Here's a great song.
Just a bit. Fucking hell.
But taking it slightly back, I mean, more of what could potentially be Stephen Swanson's contributions.
Live and Let Die.
The spaghetti incident.
Spaghetti Incident had some horrible covers.
Knocking on Heaven's Door.
But I will defend Live and Let Die. The Guns N' Roses cover of that's great.
Yeah, it's better than
That's not bad.
And
actually, their version of Mama King is really good too.
I really liked.
Yeah.
I really liked Wings' version of Live and Let Die as well. That's a great song. But Guns N' Roses did a great version of it.
Yeah. Aye. To be fair, I mean, you know, as much as Steve loves The Who, I thought he would probably, if he did participate tonight, I thought he probably would have brought up that Limp Bizkit cover that you suggested there, Steve.
Behind Bloodshot Eyes.
behind pinpricked eyes.
Oh, man.
I had a few that I thought that he was going to come up with for tonight's podcast, but well, unfortunately, he didn't participate, and well, the beer's starting to erase my memory a little bit.
Well, I think that's us, isn't it?
We covered everything.
I think we're wrapping it.
Fair dues.
It's been a good one tonight, and I hope those who listen enjoy it.
Press the bell.
The bell? Right.
Press the YouTube bell.
Well, we'll do the kind of general wrap up. So, you know, this is a weird thing, innit? Because, like, we always talk and you always see people on YouTube videos always tell you to remember and subscribe and hit the bell and all that stuff. And you're like, do you need to be told? Because anybody who uses YouTube knows how it works. If they like you...
I never subscribed to anything.
I don't even have a YouTube account.
But you should, if you're listening, you should subscribe. Just because I don't fucking live your life out what I do.
Well, I use the band one for uploading stuff, but I don't actually have a personal account on it, so you can't find me on it.
I have a YouTube account. I don't upload anything.
No. But anyway, if you want to subscribe, cool. And if you could share this, if you're watching it, like actually let other people see it so we can get some a spike in ratings. The Glenn House episode has done really well so far.
That's a good episode, man. If you're into your British metal,
if you've not, go back and watch the last episode because it's probably the most interesting conversation we're ever going to have.
Yeah.
Plus, he's a very nice bloke.
Yeah, but we'd like to do more guests. That would be good.
Yeah, definitely.
So you can expect something happening at some point soon with that. But
there's a little tingling of another guest that we might be potentially getting.
That would be good if that works out. If anybody's got any questions they would like us to talk about or anything, please put them in the comments. If you want to buy anything from us, we'll probably hopefully be getting back into the studio at some point soon. It's looking at least like there's a prospect of us getting in at some point this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can buy merch and we'll post it to you once we get a hold of it again. Unless you're buying CDs, because I've still got a handful of them here, which can get shipped out immediately. So
cool.
you can buy some CDs, that'd be nice. Anything else you're going to have to wait for now, because we've missed the last delivery and everyone else is in lockup. And follow us on all this Tantrum Scotland social media shit, Bandcamp, all that stuff. I think I've pretty much summed it all up.
Excellent.
Just flapping, making noises now.
Flapping in the breeze.
Right. On that note, we will bid you adieu, and we will
Good night.
be on next week.
Good night, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is to you.
Bye.
Peace out.